Oh, hey, you're back. Listen. Dr. Stanford here. I'm a board certified internal medicine physician, and I'm a medical advisor here at Black Girl Vitamins. We're going to talk about things that you're struggling with that you don't even really realize. Some changes that might be happening that you don't even understand what's going on. I'm going to help you try to figure it out. Listen, are you struggling with weight where you're like, oh my goodness, this weight isn't going anywhere. I can't get the weight off. What is going on here? How about struggling with issues where you can't put the fork down? That's right. What about going to the bathroom, feeling like you have to pee all the time, even though you just emptied your bladder? A couple of these signs that we just talked about could be reasons that are causing you to have prediabetes or diabetes. That's right. Prediabetes and diabetes can start to present like this. So let's talk about what prediabetes is. So when you come into the doctor, doctors come in and you get a set of labs. Those labs, one of them is called a hemoglobin A1C. Hemoglobin A1C is actually a test that we use to look at your blood sugar over a 3-month period. A 3-month period. So no, ladies, you do not have to fast for this. Black women, we tend to be at a higher risk for prediabetes and diabetes. Here's the kicker. When we check that hemoglobin A1C molecule, we get a value. That value, typically when you're between 5.7 and 6.4, this is considered prediabetes. And what this is telling me is that your body is having a hard time processing sugar. And these signs and symptoms that we're going to talk about are all reasons that you might be having these symptoms because that sugar is too high in the body. And guess what? The body doesn't like when the sugar is too high. Then the problem with prediabetes, especially in Black women, we tend to increase our rate from going to pre-diabetic to diabetic much faster than other populations. Here's the thing that you can do. Making sure that you know your numbers. Once your numbers become at 6.5 or greater with that A1C level we were talking about, that puts you in a diabetic category. So making sure that you don't transition from pre-diabetes to diabetes, we're gonna talk about some things that you can do. But first, like I was saying, weight gain. When you're pre-diabetic or diabetic, these weight changes can start to happen. Even though you're working out, you're doing all the things, it can definitely cause some weight gain. One of the things that you can do to help not transition from pre-diabetes to diabetes is exercise. At least 30 minutes a day to 1 hour a day to help reduce your fat. Those fat cells are going to cause insulin resistance, which is essentially what pre-diabetes is. It's when your body can't process the blood sugar. Let me profess it for y'all real quick. Think about it like this. The blood vessels in the body, they're like highways. All those highways have exits. Those exit signs are like the muscles on the cells. So all of our bodies, our muscles, our cells, we all need sugar. Not too much sugar, but you need sugar. In order for that sugar to open into the door of the muscle cell, insulin, which is the key that opens the door for the sugar to come inside the cell. This is a normal cascade. What happens is when there's too much sugar or when you're not as active, that insulin doesn't open that door as nicely. It tries to open the door for the blood sugar to go inside the cells, but it just becomes resistant over time. And that can be from genetics, that can be from what we're eating, our lifestyles, stress. All of these things are going to affect that cascade. So when you come into the doctor and we say things like you're pre-diabetic, what that's really meaning is that your body's insulin is not able to open those doors for that blood sugar to go in. And so when we check the blood sugar on lab work, guess what? It's high because instead of it being inside those cells, it's outside the body. That's how that cascade works. And as a result, when blood sugar is high, you have trouble losing weight. You feel like you can't put the fork down, right? You feel like no matter what you're eating, and you're just insatiable. You can't, nothing is making you feel satisfied. That could be because your blood sugar is high. The other thing, running to the bathroom, having to get up at night, pee constantly, pee throughout the day. No matter what you drink, you're constantly peeing. This is your body's way of trying to get blood sugar down. Because the sugar is so high in the body, the blood just can't do anything with it, so it pushes it to the kidneys, and as a result, you pee a lot. You pee a whole lot. And some people, in fact, because they're peeing so much, start to actually lose weight because the body can't process the blood sugar that it has, so it starts to burn fat. And that is one of the long-term complications of diabetes, is that when people go uncontrolled for a long period of time, they actually start to lose weight. And the scary part is they don't come into the doctor because they're like, I'm losing weight, I'm healthy, but really it's because your blood sugar is not being processed in the body, and your body is then burning fat, not in a good way. The next thing, and I hear this all the time, ladies, are you suffering from yeast infections over and over and over again? You take one medication for it, it comes back. You take one medication for it, it comes back. This could be a sign that your sugar is high and that you might have prediabetes or diabetes. Because guess what? Yeast, like any other bug, likes sugar to feed off of. So when the sugar is high, and yes, the sugar can be high in the vagina, the yeast start to grow and they overgrow, causing yeast infections that happen over and over again. So if you're having yeast infections over and over again, this could be a sign that your blood sugar is high and you should get it checked. The next thing, vision changes. Guess what? The sugar affects the eyes. So when the sugar is too high, the capillaries in the eyes, those blood vessels, start to get deterred. And you also start to have different changes in your retina caused by having sugar that's too high. So again, if you're noticing blurry vision, can't see as well, you want to get your blood sugar checked because this can all be affected by the diabetes. The next thing, complications that we just don't talk about. We talked about the eyes, we talked about peeing a lot, but did you know that if diabetes and prediabetes goes unchecked for too long, you run the risk of ruining your kidneys. You run the risk of ruining your limbs, your feet. We talk about feet and gangrene, but guess what? When the sugar is too high, it literally ruins the whole entire body. It can. If you can imagine, even when people come in with nerve pain, right? They come in and they're like, my legs, I have numbness and tingling in my legs, my feet, I can't feel my toes, I can't feel my fingers. Imagine this. If you can imagine a regular plain donut without any sugar on it. And then if you can imagine a person that has diabetes that's not controlled, the sugar's always high, that donut then becomes a glazed donut. And that's what happens to the nerves of the body. That sugar being so high in the body actually goes and it coats the nerves. And that's actually what causes what we call neuropathy, or that numbness and tingling feeling that's very characteristic in our diabetic population. It can also affect the heart. When the blood sugar is high, it makes the blood sugar is very, very sticky. It goes and it can cause everything to just be a sticky mess. So if you can imagine those blood vessels where blood flow and cholesterol and all those products in the body is supposed to flow like a freeway full of no traffic, the blood sugar being high actually causes those blood vessels to become sticky. That sticky blood vessel situation can lead to heart attack and stroke. So this is not something that you want to ignore. The next thing, how to make changes. I know I just scared you guys. We talked about the complications, we talked about the issues, but let's talk about what we can do to fix it. Number one, get to know your numbers. Please go to the doctor, see where you stand at, see where your levels are, see where your starting foundation is. The next thing, don't ignore these symptoms. Listen, Black women, I know we are superheroes. We want to save the world. We want to do all the things. But we can't save the world if we're not okay. We have to prioritize ourselves. And that starts with the foundational package, is what I call it. As you'll start to notice as you watch my videos, I'm gonna say some of the same things over and over again because we're just not doing them. We're not exercising. We're putting our exercise off because we have to take care of this person, that person, and it's affecting us. It's a thing called caregiver burnout. And it's what I call the Black woman tax, because a lot of us in our situations, we're the head of here, we're in control of here. Some of us, we're the go-to for our families. And all of that is affecting our lifestyle, it's affecting how we live, it's affecting how we are. So make sure you have this foundational piece intact. I want to tell you a couple things everybody should be doing. Number one, exercise at least 30 minutes a day, and that's a minimum. Mix it with aerobic activity and strength training. Number two, make sure you're eating a diet full of lean white meat and leafy green vegetables. You don't want to eat a diet full of processed food because the body can't process those things. And a lot of times you don't know how much sugar or carbohydrates is in something if you're not making it yourself. The next thing, make sure you reduce your stress. Believe it or not, high levels of stress, cortisol, that hormone, is going to cause your sugar to go up in the body, which can also lead to prediabetes and diabetes. So making sure that you do these 3 foundational things for yourself, it can go a long way. Thanks for listening, y'all. This is Dr. Stan. Catch me next week with more information about how to make your life a little better.